Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we certainly are. And today, friends, we've got a very special guest interview, Alara Sirius. Alara, welcome to the Truth Quest.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm happy to be here. It's delightful to be here with you this evening. This is wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very, very welcome. A friend of mine that calls into the show quite often, actually he called just before we went live, is Maxwell Smart. And so he's the one that said, hey, you got to listen to these guys on their Space Force news. And now, first of all, I have to ask you, Alara Sirius. Now, is that your actual real name? Is this your kind of anonymous name?
So that name is kind of random. So I've talked about this many times. So I had my awakening, and I guess it would have been 2017 is when I would say that I woke up, right? And I don't know how I ended up. It's all kind of bizarre to me, but somehow I ended up on Twitter, and a lot of things just kind of happened to all happen at the same general time. And I was really seeking. I was going within a lot, and I had these really cool, crazy experiences. And I was given the name Alara, right? And I was told some things about Sirius or whatever. So I made this handle Alara of Sirius on Twitter, and I ended up going on a podcast for the first time not too long after that. So I kind of got stuck with that name. Like, it wasn't really planned out that way. It was my Twitter handle, and I sort of got stuck with it. That's just kind of what happened.
Okay. So, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty wild how I got the name Alara, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get it, or is that?
Well, I don't mind talking about that part. I mean, it's weird. It's out there, but hey, we're on your channel, right? So weird is where it's at. No, I was in, well, I could probably go a little more. This is kind of interesting. So I was meditating, and it was after I first woke up and started to understand, things beyond the five senses, and there was, things you could tap into, whatever. So at one point I realized that I had some kind of connection to the Aquafarians, but I didn't really understand it at that point. So I was meditating, and I walked out in the water, and I was like, okay, so I hear like I have a connection with you guys. And so do you have anything you need to tell me? And I didn't have any expectations whatsoever. I think that's probably why what happened that time. But I walked out there, and they very just like audibly in my ear called me Alara. And I knew the moment I heard it, I knew that was my name. I recognized it, and I was like, whoa. And they spoke to me in Farsi and told me some rather deep, profound stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of how that came about. And it's been my name ever since.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I mean, so you went out to the water, you say? Is that what you said?
In my mind, in meditation.
In your mind. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got this message that your name was Alara. And the people that you connected with, what did you call them? I got to write this down. This is interesting.
Just people from the water. I mean, I guess we would deem them, probably mermaids, but I think there's all different types. They don't necessarily look the way that we stereotype them. And I think there's a lot of different kinds.
Sure.
So, human beings that are, they live in the water. Their world is the water. Most of our planet is ocean, not land.
Right.
This becomes, abundantly clear when you go fly anywhere, really, away from the, United States. It's all water. We don't know what's down there.
Right.
We have no idea. We have no idea what's down there.
Well,
and I'll tell you, there's intelligent life down there that was able to give me a telepathic message. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's weird. Now, I wonder if it could have been dolphins, because they're highly intelligent. So are whales. I mean, there's two animals right there that are probably more intelligent than humans. I mean,
right?
they're not making anything out of plastic. That makes them smarter already, right?
Maybe they all run together. The dolphins and the whales and the human beings that live there that are, I don't know, the voice was almost kind of angelic in a way
Mm.
and female. So for whatever that means, I don't really know what it means, but
Wow.
yeah.
So then 2017, and you're starting to awaken. You get these messages from these aquarians,
Aquafarians.
aquafarians. That's the
It
word.
just means, I think it just means water people if you look it up. I think that's what it means.
Aquafarians. I like that word. Um, wow, that's fantastic. Now I know there are reports of people finding these beings in the water, and sometimes they're from outer space, and they don't like it when
Right.
people come by. In fact, they kill them sometimes. They don't like people, but they're researching certain parts of the water, so maybe they're interacting with these beings um, down there. Yeah, we just don't know. We think we think space has a lot of intrigue, but you're right. Even the ocean is a lot that we don't know about.
Complete mystery to us.
Yeah,
Pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's elements of our governments that know exactly what's down there, but the majority of us here on this planet have no clue what's down there. Nor do we interact much with the beings there. I mean, we don't even show the dolphins and the whales the respect that they deserve. Really, they're quite advanced in so many ways.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the dolphins have two brains, and one side sleeps while the other one stays awake because they have to keep breathing and keep from
I
drowning.
didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So, had you never heard? Did you not believe there were like mermaids?
No.
Have you thought about this much?
Well,
You
yeah,
didn't think,
I've seen some of the skeletal remains that are banting about in the intranet. And I've seen, accounts where there's like a picture of a webbed hand. And so,
oh, you
yeah,
saw the mermaid documentary on Animal Planet.
I don't know what it was, but, something intriguing, right? We just don't know. I mean,
Right.
maybe we can get to the point where we're putting trail cams down there like we are in the woods now.
Right. Be nice to know, right? I'd like to hang out with one and, chat but apparently they can, do things we can't exactly do at this point. So they're probably more advanced. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're ET, maybe they're not, maybe they're from here. I don't know. But, I've watched enough videos and stuff to see that there's clearly cities. There's things down there that move around, you know. Now, did we create those? Did another race of beings create those? I don't know. It's outside my pay grade, you know. But I'll tell you that there's a lot of weird stuff in our ocean that just doesn't add up when from the narrative that we're sold that there's nothing but animals down there, and it just doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's there's mysteries everywhere.
That's right. Earth is full of mysteries, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is all kinds of different variants of mysteries going on.
Yes. Appropriate word for the day, I'll say, Aaron.
Yeah,
Variance. Yeah.
variantly. Yeah, a lot
This is
of people
weird.
talk about propaganda, but uh, I call that impropaganda because it's improper.
Which part?
Propaganda, the propaganda they're spouting, trying to
Oh,
stir.
impropaganda.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's that fear mongering thing, but we'll ignore all that.
Right.
I'm so lucky. I stopped watching television um, way back before the turn of the century.
That's great. I don't watch it either.
Back in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I got artwork in front of my TV over there, and I don't think it's even plugged in. So
That's awesome. People will look at you like you're crazy too if they mention the new movie and you don't know what it is.
Oh yeah,
Like, how do you, or some new series on Netflix? I'm like, I shut that off when Cuties came out and never looked back. Like, and I'm not, I'm not really not interested in what Netflix is putting out at
right.
all.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I got to say that I certainly don't miss television at all because look at the plethora of great shows to watch, like Space Force News, like Conspiracy Couch,
Yeah.
and all great shows like that. And so it must be exciting to be part of that. I mean, you guys got something going good there, something good going there.
Yeah, we've been working together for a while now, and me and Foyle just have a good dynamic together. And it's interesting. We met on Twitter, and it's actually a friend introduced us and was like, "You two should work together." She didn't have a show at that point. She had never done a podcast, and I was like, I had just kind of started. I started doing a show called the Pink Patriot Hour in the beginning, and that's sort of a long story because it moved channels, and then it moved to Kate's channel, and then anyways, and then they came for everybody the purge, and so all the episodes were taken down. But UFOs was always kind of my jam, and the secret space program stuff, and that was always kind of my jam. So when the whole Space Force thing started to happen, Foil, I was like, we got this was our thing. We used to send each other Space Force stuff and science stuff and tech stuff all the time. We used to DM each other. I was like, well, let's do
Record.
it. Nobody's doing the Space Force news, man. We got to do the Space Force news, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own. But thank you for the compliment. It's a fun show to do. I love the crowd. The crowd makes it the
Yeah,
best part of that show.
I
The
love
people
your
that watch.
intros for all the different segments. You got the F1 something chasing the UFO and blowing it up, and then you got
Mhm.
the mouse with the spacesuit on or something.
You know who did those is Brad Getz.
Oh, really? Caladrone?
Mhm.
He
Yes,
he does graphics? Wow.
he did all the intros for Space Force News. That's his incredible work. He's a
Yeah,
very talented guy.
he does a show with Craig Mason.
Yes,
And
friggin' Friday nights.
yeah, yeah. I caught part of that tonight. It was good. Very good. Great show. They had the background. Did you see it? The background was great.
Mhm.
They had it was Kex Giving Day parade, and they had Peppy floating in the background and confetti falling, and the NPC gray face, the angry face going like they're Thanksgiving Day balloons. It was fantastic. Very good.
I see Dark Brain said Brad is rad. Yes, I have to agree.
Yes,
Brad is absolutely rad.
I got to have him on here too. Oh, hello, Artist 61 and everybody out there. MacGyver,
Great.
Mud Rabbit, everybody's here. I got the
So
best.
chat, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, share it out to your friends. And
I think I just made a post on my Telegram.
did you? I can't
Yeah,
use my Telegram now for some odd reason.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this out to my Facebook page too. Yeah. So yeah, I love watching you guys. Very, very funny, very um, cutting edge. You guys cover it all. I love it.
A lot of work. That shows a lot of work. Space Force News
Does look like a lot of work. Yeah.
is a lot of work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work, but it's fun. It's fun. It's always been a fun show. I don't know how to explain it, but since the very beginning, the crowd that watches that show is, because me and Foyle kind of troll each other, and then the chat trolls us, and it's just sort of like it's always been that way, and everybody knows there's just such a like a I don't know, the feeling on it is just really cool. Everybody's just really smart and fun, and have a great sense of humor, and it's just always been a fun show.
Family fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. Yeah. Yep. Look at everybody. Up three. That's the new name. Welcome to the show. Welcome everybody. Now,
He's a familiar face to me. Hi, Up Three. Good to see you.
oh, good. Wow. Um, yeah. Anybody in my chat that hasn't been to 1 foot and 5D. That's the name of your YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 1 foot N, like the letter N, 5D.
I'll drop it because it's super shadow banned. If you don't type it in exactly right,
Okay.
it won't even pop
That,
up.
that would
So
be,
I'll go drop the link over there real quick.
that would rock.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to have Foil on here sometime too and get her angle, her part of the story, and compare notes.
Yeah, she's a hoot. She's definitely a hoot. Very smart.
Yeah.
Very. I can't. There's not enough I can say about her, to be honest with you. She's just an incredible being in so many ways that
Yeah. Very cool.
can't say enough.
So,
All
what
right,
was the
I'm dropping
first
it right now.
UFO you ever saw? I should wait till you're done doing this.
The first UFO I ever saw.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Let me think. The one that woke me up, which ironically enough wasn't ET. It was ours.
Mm.
So, yeah. That's how I got hip to the secret space. You know, I always knew on some level, even when I was totally asleep, that there was something really suspect about the rocket show. You know what I mean? Like, we lost the equipment, we can't go back. Oh, we're just not interested in space right now. You know, and then they start the rockets. But I was like, man, something there's something really funky going on here with the space issue on this planet. So I always kind of knew that, right? But the rude awakening was the day. But I always sort of bought into the narrative, you know what I mean? And I watched the news and I had no idea. Like, I really had no idea. I had to wake up instantly because I had no choice. Like, something that I didn't believe could even exist was right in front of me and I couldn't deny it. You know, and I had to reconcile what I was looking at. And you know, in the initial part of that, I was like, well, when this happened, I was like, well, I remember thinking like, okay, this is happening, this is real. Well, I didn't really fully buy into that it was real thing. I don't know if how many people out there have been through something like that that's earth shattering, but I was checking to you check to see if you're insane or not, right? So I look over, there's a dude next to me, and I could see that he sees it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not insane. And then further, you know, like 8 military drones came around and were watching the whole thing. It was a really intense moment of my life, you know. They're watching and I'm thinking, okay, so this is real. This is happening. And I remember that thought press happened. I couldn't tell you the amount of time that lapsed, but I'm thinking, okay, this is happening. And then I'm thinking, then my next thought was, okay, so this is aliens. It's got to be aliens, right? Because we don't have this technology. So I'm like, it's got to be aliens. What are they going to do now? Abduct me? And the moment that thought occurred to me, like, oh, I'm about to get abducted. This is aliens, right? That was it. I started running. I took off. I booked it. And I didn't look back, you know? So I really don't know what happened that day. The guy that was with me, like 20 minutes later, denied that he even saw it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they wiped his memory or if his cognitive dissonance set in and he couldn't cope with what he saw. It was hard for me to cope with what I saw. You know, it caused a very dramatic spiritual awakening almost overnight, and a whole series of events followed that. But I could tell if you're not ready for that, like you're gonna find a way to deny that it happened, because that was shocking. And then for me to go down the research rabbit hole and to figure out that what I encountered was not extraterrestrial. You know what I mean? That was us. Was another profound sort of step in that whole process of awakening. And then once I really started to understand about the secret space programs and stuff, I got kind of pissed off. Like, this isn't right. That we're still driving around and yelling in traffic, sitting in traffic, when we have this level of technology and it's being hidden from the public. It got me on one, and ever since then I've been on a mission, you know? I've been on a mission.
Sounds familiar. Sounds real familiar. Yeah,
What about you?
it's not a fun thing, is it? When you first see it, it's not a fun thing. Not
No.
something like you think it would be.
Uh-uh.
It's very spooky, kind of. Um,
Right. Did it happen to you?
yeah, I saw my first UFO as I was driving through Chippewa Falls, going from Wisconsin to Minnesota in 1996. And it was like 3 in the afternoon, clear day. And this thing was, it was about as long as my finger at arm's length, and it was zipping at right angles and stopping, and then zipping at another angle and stopping. And it looked exactly like this, the sport model that,
It was a saucer. Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
it was, and it wasn't
Wow.
wobbling like a, if it was a Mylar balloon, it wouldn't be pointy on the edges like this, and it would be wobbling. Because I originally thought, okay, well, maybe it's like a Mylar balloon caught in a wind vortex. But
Right.
it was just, these crisp, tight movements, and it would stop. And it's like a balloon wouldn't do that. And it didn't.
Aaron, can I interrupt you for 1 second? I see Foil out there. I think she might be able to, I'm not positive, but she might be able to come on right now if you were to
Oh,
send
okay.
her the link if you want her to. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it might be cool if she joined us, right?
Let's see.
We were just talking about you, Foil, and
Let me see. I'll just put the link in the chat then.
if you're available, you should come hang out and talk, chat with us. So, yeah, hopefully, I don't know. She was supposed to have a show earlier, so hopefully she's already
Yeah.
ready to go. She could come on and join us. That would be cool.
Well, I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, she can pick the link up there, or I can DM. Well, I could DM it to her too, if you want me to do it that way. It's up to you.
I'll just put it in the chat. Hopefully, it all kind of
All right,
runs.
come on, Foil, join the party. We're going full woo. So, pardon me, sorry about the interruption. Can you finish telling me about your amazing saucer experience? I've never met anybody that's seen a saucer that I can recall.
Oh man, it was freaky. It freaked me out. And I was driving in my I had a little red Fiero, and I was driving, like I said, I just got through Chippewa Falls, and I was going towards Highway 94, which goes into Minnesota. And it was like in the middle of nowhere, and there was no other traffic anywhere. And I see this thing out of the side of my car, and it's zipping around. So I pull my car over. I get out of my car. I'm looking at the thing, going, "Oh my God!" And those thoughts are going, "Okay, it's not an airplane, it's not a
Right.
balloon caught in a vortex." It's like, "Oh my God!" I was getting this feeling like I wasn't supposed to see it, and it was like darting around, kind of like trying to evade my eyes or something. I don't know. Then I
How
thought,
close was it?
like I said, it was about as long as my finger at
Mhm.
arm's length. So it was very close. It was, if you, I don't know
Right.
how long my finger is. It's about, it was very large. I mean, it looked like, I guess, like a like a van, say a van, um,
Did
about
it telepathically communicate with you in any
block
way?
away. Maybe because I had this feeling like I wasn't supposed to see it. I had this feeling like I'm not supposed to see this. And then I remembered, holy crap. And I don't know why I didn't remember until after watching it for a while and being dumbfounded. That I have my video camera in the car. I had a Sony Handycam,
Yeah.
fully charged, and I just recorded just a little bit earlier, and I grabbed it, I clicked the button, it powered up, and then it powered down, didn't get one single frame. And then it zipped off at like light speed, and I went, holy crap, this is freaky, man. So that's what got me on my quest for truth.
Right. When was this?
1996. And then
Mm.
this thing um, came on the market, and it was exactly like the one I saw. I mean, down to the exactly like it. Exactly. I couldn't even believe
You,
it.
you think it was one of our ARVs, or do you think it was ET?
Well, it looks just like the sport model. So that one was an ET craft, but we do own one, and we
Right.
fly it. So I don't know. Also, it also might be from the inner Earth as well. It might be a craft utilized by those people as well, because that's been depicted as being in the inner Earth as well. So I don't know. Who knows, right? That's why we need full disclosure.
That and intuition, I think, helps. You know, you get here's the thing is these, you know, this level of technology can be very deceptive, and what some of these advanced beings can do and that sort of thing, especially with sort of mind control and that, and what they can do with holograms now. But the one thing is energy doesn't lie, you know, and if you become more tuned in to being able to read energy, even if something is attempting to deceive you, you'll pick up on it if you get better and better at, you know, reading energy, basically.
I think it's getting easier and easier to do that. I mean, you can tell people's thoughts almost already, because I think it has to do with the area of space we're going through. If you listen to Corey Good, he talks about, you know, we're in a higher energetic area of the galaxy that we haven't been in a long time, and it's raising all of our, you know, abilities apparently. Because
Something's happening on this planet. Clearly, we can all see it.
yeah,
You know, people are changing. They're becoming more. You know, it's just like what Corey said. The ones that are becoming more loving are becoming extremely more so loving, forgiving, and then the ones that are becoming negative are just getting out of hand. It's becoming this. You know, it's crazy, and we have to still live on the same planet together. That's the craziest part. Like, how long are we going to have to coexist with
well,
these people?
I think once the media gets cleaned up, I think a lot of that's going to go away, because everybody has more in common than they have differences. You know,
Mhm.
don't you think? Oh, oh, I think she's in the room. There she is.
All right.
Loyal to the foil. I wasn't paying attention. I was listening. I'm a good listener. There she is, the foil
It's a
girl.
great quality to have.
Yeah, well, I really have to thank you for coming on. I really enjoy your show. It's very entertaining.
Thank
And
you.
Well, hi.
well, hello there.
Oh, we don't get graced with your amazing, lovely, angelic face,
Oh,
foil.
good Lord, man. You already know what it is today. I'm just happy to
Mhm.
be here. Just happy to be here.
So loyal. It's loyal to the THA foil. Was loyal to THE foil already taken? Is that why you went to the?
I wish that was my excuse. No, no. I just tend to I tend to bastardize words sometimes. That's all right though.
Oh yeah, I'm all for that.
So what are we talking about? UFO experiences here.
Yeah.
And Alara, you shared your story. I just jumped in, guys. I just wanted to come and say hi. So Alara told her story, I assume.
She told one story. It was all about you.
Oh, good
Yeah,
Lord.
the
Wait, what?
opener.
Just kidding.
I was say,
We need
what
to
did
hear
I
about
miss, man?
we need to hear about your UFO stories now. Aaron told his about the sport model, and I told mine, and we're curious now about your UFO experiences.
Well, I've had a couple of UFO experiences. At one time I was driving from Ohio to South Carolina, and for probably a good, I don't know, 30 minutes, um, kind of, I'm not too far. I wasn't too far from the coast coming down that way, I guess. But in any case, I had passed through the tunnel coming out of Virginia, and I had gone maybe about another hour or so. But then for about a good 30 minutes, there was I mean, I assume a TR3B. It was definitely triangular in shape. It was. I don't know. It wasn't. I wasn't the only one there. I can't say it was like keeping pace with me, but it stayed. It stayed in my in my visual range for a good 30 minutes. But that wasn't nearly as exciting as the experience that I had not too long ago. As a matter of fact, it had to been, I don't know, what was it, like 6 months ago, maybe. I was taking my niece home. and I am in like the middle of nowhere in South Carolina. And I was taking my niece home, and it was backcountry roads, probably 3:30 in the morning. And, her and her boyfriend were in the car with me, and I kept seeing the sky light up, and I'm yelling at them, like, do you see that? Do you see that? I'm like, am I tripping? Finally you could see these orbs like in the sky, and the sky would light up, and they were kind of an orangish color. And it got so pronounced to the point that I finally pulled my truck off the side of the road, and I'm flipping out at this point. They're in the car like, what the hell is going on? So I'm like, get your phone out, hurry, hit record, because the I didn't have enough space on my normal phone to record. My niece caught it, and we showed a little bit of the video, I think on one of our conspiracy couches, maybe, or maybe Space Force News. But I had pulled over kind of on the side of the road near a field, and it was like almost like they were dancing. I don't know. They were jetting across the field and shooting up into the sky, and the sky would light up and they would light up, and they were all over the place. And this went on for maybe 10 minutes.
They were partying.
They were, man, they were getting down, man. Something was going on, but that went on for probably a good 10 minutes. I mean, and the worst part is, I'm having a fit, and my niece is having a fit or whatever. And we ended up with like maybe 2 minutes of video. And then the video I took on my secondary phone, for whatever reason, I now can't unlock the phone, which is ridiculous. The entirety of the video was filmed on that phone, and I can't get into it. But we got we got a little bit of footage on the other phone. But I mean, they were big, and they were bright, and I mean, they were lighting up the sky, and it just moving all around. It was crazy.
Wow. So how many of them were there?
At least two. I mean, two very distinct. Maybe at one point I thought maybe three, but I mean, at least two. And then the one would even come down like close to the ground, and it shot across the field, and then it went back up and behind the trees and came back up, and it was all over the place. It was crazy.
TR3B too?
No. The TR3B I saw just coming down the highway, and that was easily discernible. There was no cloak on it. Like it was very easy to be seen. These orbs, they were big balls of light, just big balls of light. It was the craziest thing.
Wow. I saw 2 balls of light with someone that was with me that now does not want to talk about it. So there I had a witness, but
you'll have that.
Yeah,
that happens.
It's weird how it's almost like they're there just to, like, I feel like that first time that witness I had there was just for me, so that I would know I wasn't crazy, but it wasn't for, like, it's weird how that happens. Like, they're there to, what's the word that I'm thinking of? They're there to
validate your experience.
Validate your experience, right? But then it's not meant to, I don't know. It's weird because you think, why was that person there? They saw it, and then something happens later where they,
I know,
never validated again.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. One of the crazy stories I heard when I was interviewing, do you remember Stan Romanek?
Yeah, you interviewed him?
Yeah, 4 times. He and his wife.
Wow.
His wife was for 2 of them, I think, he and his wife. He plays a Native American flute very well. In fact, he put albums out of Native American flute before he was ever, any of this happened to him. But yeah, he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or something, and he's like, "What's going on?" He was wearing this really tight nightie, like a night dress, like a woman's night dress, and it was a Minnie Mouse night dress, and it was tight. And his wife goes, "What are you doing wearing that?" He goes, "I don't know." And she goes, "Oh, maybe you were abducted again." And then
you put a nightgown on him while he was abducted?
A few years later, he was doing this symposium somewhere, this live, where people get together and they talk to experiencers. And he was giving this presentation. Afterwards, this woman came up to him and he told that story, and she said, I think I know what happened. She goes, because um, um, Betty Hill, Barney and Betty Hill. So Betty Hill was like her aunt or something.
Oh, wow.
She said that she woke up one day the same morning wearing a t-shirt that Stan Romanek wore to bed that night, the night before he came with the night shirt. And it was a t-shirt that said, "I was abducted by aliens and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." So she went home with that t-shirt on and she didn't know what happened to her night shirt. He went home with the night shirt, didn't know what happened to his t-shirt. This girl, who is the I think niece of Betty Hill, explained this is what happened. She was always wondering what happened to her and why she had this t-shirt on. So that was pretty freaky.
Teleportation glitches, man.
Well, I think they were maybe in the craft and getting dressed and we might not remember this. Let's switch clothes. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe they have like a lost and found where they just keep random clothes to dress people in sometimes, that's possible.
Yeah.
Right? We lost their clothes. Just check the lost and found, bud.
Right.
Check the lost and found.
There's got to be something in there, right?
Yeah, just throw something on.
Good point.
We can't send him home naked. That wouldn't be
right.
No, they did that to what's his name?
The Fire in the Sky guy.
Walton, yeah, Travis Walton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went home naked. Brutal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? In public. Not even like dropped off in the bed, like dropped off on
the side of the road. Right.
Right. Naked.
I hate when that happens every single time.
Right?
Right. Like if you're going to abduct me, at least have some consideration as to how you return me.
Right.
Right.
Like you got to wonder about that one though. Like most of the time at least they put you back in your bed, right? Or in your car somewhere. That's a bummer there to get dropped off naked on the side of the road. I mean, really, as if you're not traumatized enough at that point, right?
As if your situation couldn't get any worse.
Right. You're not going to take human interaction very well at that point anyways, right? And then to make you naked on top of it, and that's brutal,
Right.
Well, at least they didn't tar and feather him. They could have done
That's
that.
right.
That's always a plus.
Always look at the bright side.
Right. That's definitely a plus.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys both have had some kind of close encounters or some kind of event that you saw. Of course, I think all of us that get into this. There's no other way to get into.
I was gonna say, do us weirdos ever get into doing what we do unless something really crazy happened that made you go, oh, right? Like there's something going on here, is all I'm saying,
Yeah, and I've been really hoping that disclosure was going to happen, but disclosure happens when we all talk about it, and we hear about other people's, things that they've seen. Because once you've seen it, no one can tell you didn't see it.
You nailed it, Aaron. Once enough people have had their own individual experiences, when they go on the mainstream and try to it just people will laugh. At a point, there'll be too many of us. And they'll just go, okay, all right, yeah. Like it, I don't know. That's, I guess, my days of waiting for them to ever come out. And look, Elizondo said it in the interview that we played not too long ago. He outright said it. He goes, these people are worried about getting hung up for this. You know what I mean? And he was trying to open up a dialogue about UFO amnesty and all of that. He said this all in an interview, and he's like, you guys want ET disclosure, but yet if people come out and admit what's happened and give any real information, they run the risk of being,
dragged off to the gallows.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, how does disclosure come about under those circumstances? How does this facilitate people to come forward, that have dirt on them, if, they know what's going to happen to them?
Well, I mean, at least we're getting something. Like, I know a lot of people, like, this is drip disclosure, this is limited hangout, but I mean, at least we're getting some acknowledgement from the government. There's some acknowledgement in academia by some big names. There's some acknowledgement from people in intelligence. I mean, it's kind of gaining its own momentum to the point now that they can't hit the reset button on it. So what are they? So they're trying in other ways. Like Alara and I had covered something from Black Vault where he was discussing about how now all of the 144 incidents that they cataloged for that report in June or July, they're all classified now. Like, you know, they're going to give us what they want to give us, granted, you know, but I mean, at this point, after this many years, and I know everybody wants everything all at once, but I truly am of the opinion that, hey, something is better than nothing, because once they start the discussion, you know, there's only so much you can do to control the narrative at that point. I mean, the discussion is happening, and people are going to be able to speak out and, you know, come to some of their own conclusions, at least this time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disclosure needs to happen, and that's why we're doing what we do. I think we're on some kind of mission that we might not even know. But I showed a little video of this guy, Joseph Spencer. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
Claims to be a man in black. He was one of the men in black.
Yes, I've seen it.
Very dark. He said one of the people he killed was William Cooper.
Oh, good Lord.
And he also Samantha Willis. He said they had this wand that they used, and it would give you so many volts, it would kill you instantly. But with this woman, Samantha Willis, it didn't work, so he had to strangle her. And he was made into an MK Ultra mind-controlled killer. And he found out that I think a third of the people or a sixth of the people in the Men in Black were aliens or alien hybrids, and they had no whites in their eyes. Like they looked like they had hollow eyes, like black eyes. And
like the grown versions of the black-eyed kids. I've seen some speculation that the whole black-eyed kid thing may be the result of some hybridization program.
I think it's just a myth. I don't think it's real.
What, the black-eyed kids story? Yeah.
I tried to track that guy down, and there was some reason I couldn't get him. It was like he was, I don't want to say because I don't remember. I have terrible memory problems. But I want to say that he had passed away, or there was some definitive reason why I could not track the guy down. So I went looking for that guy after I heard that. And how do guys like this come forward? This is part of the discussion that, you know, how do guys like this come forward if we're going to prosecute them? You know what I mean? Like there needs to be a level at which you'll get a pass as long as you come forward, right? If you're working for the bad guys, but you aren't necessarily the shot caller, if you know what I'm saying, then at what point do we?
I think the bad guys need to be rooted out first. We need to drain the swamp first, because, you know, if they might get killed by guys like this Joseph Spencer guy, you know, there were a bunch of them. They're out killing UFO researchers and documentarians. So, you know,
how do we do that though, Aaron? How do we get the big bad guys? I mean, I look at it kind of like a criminal investigation. I mean, sometimes you gotta get the smaller fish to, you know, snitch on the medium fish to snitch on the big fish. Like you gotta, you know, I don't know how would we implement some sort of a top down?
I don't know. I think that's something, you know, maybe we could meditate on or something like that. You know, meditation. Think about the word meditation. Sounds kind of like medication, doesn't it? You're trying to like replace meditation with medication. Yeah, I don't know. We need to drain the swamp. The swamp needs to be drained because the greatest fear is from these rogue operatives that are trained killers, that they have no remorse. No remorse.
How do we drain the UFO swamp?
Yeah, we need to do that. Yeah. And you know, I don't know. I think just be as honest as we can with our own stories, and that that's what's going to be what's listened to, is the most honest stories they've heard. I think I really do get a feeling of honesty when I hear Corey Good talk. He seems very honest to me.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I think I told you this before when you called into the couch or something, that when that happened to me, when I saw that first ship. So the ship that I saw was the Dark Craft, what he calls the Dark Craft, right? And I was blown away. This happened to me, and I'm searching for answers, searching, and then I see whatever the artist was that drew that ship, and my mouth about hit the floor. It was the exact same ship, and it appeared in the exact same way he described. And I had already kind of had an intuitive hit that he was the real deal. But then when I saw that, I knew 100%. Like, I knew. I was like, yep. And so, I don't like to get too much into the Corey discussion, but I'll say that much about it. Like, I knew there's no way he could have known that. You know what I mean? There's just no way that he could have known that. And he did. He knew. And I couldn't believe that's how I first figured out what the name of it was and what it was. And I've since gone on to do more research and find out more. But the first way I was able to figure out at all what happened to me, and that it was the secret space program, and that it was our ship, was because of him.
Interesting.
I was led to him through synchronicity, and then I saw the ship. There's like a grand design to this whole awakening thing. Like, I think we planned this on some level in our future selves, or however you want to look at it. But there's clearly a design, because too many things happened that led me to this, that led me to that led me to this, that did it. And it's like, no, somebody was designing all this. Like, even when the timing on when that ship came to wake me up, to startle me awake, the timing on that was just too precise. It was coming from a higher level, there was a design to it. It wasn't an accident.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. It just sure does seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah, boy, it's with all the people telling all the stories out there, there's like a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But
a lot of infighting and disagreeing about personal issues and this, that, and it's a shame, because somebody's information can be good.
Yeah.
But because of personal distortions and disagreements, and everybody, it takes away from the truth of a person's information, you get what I'm saying?
That's what they do. They go after the messenger, not the message. They go after the messenger. And then once they've decimated the messenger, then the message fades away. Or they hope it does. But I don't think that's
the objective, at least.
I don't think that's happening now. People are waking up. People are really waking up.
Oh, it's like a snowball rolling downhill at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, Foil, is now that there's some kind of cursory acknowledgement in the mainstream, the average everyday Joe's going to go, oh, maybe that thing I saw back in 1968 really was a UFO,
Right.
And then they'll start having these remembrances or even new events. Now, one of the things this Joseph Spencer said, and I think he's passed away since, and this was from years ago, before 2017, he said that 2024 was going to be the year that they do the holographic.
Great.
Oh, goody.
Fantastic.
Before or after they unleashed I shouldn't even say it.
Right.
I didn't see the variant coming, though, before this other pandemic. I think they have planned coming up, right?
I didn't. New variants all the time. It's very good for their stock portfolio.
And the new booster that they need you to get, right?
Yeah. Well, I my vote is for I'm rooting for my natural immune system. And of course, I always am wearing my Invisimask,
Yes, of course.
which I invented to
Yes.
save the world with.
It's a fantastic plan
Don't
there,
leave home without it.
right?
You can't. It never. It self cleans. You never need to take it off.
That's
Boom.
great.
Yeah. It's giving
People are
people.
crazy. Running through the neighborhood with a mask on. The TV is something else, boy. What it does to it fries people's brains. They can't even think anymore. Like, I've seen the most illogical things, and I'm like, how do you not? It's the TV, man. It's got them.
Yeah, it is. It's mind numbing them. Here's the thing: if you hear something more than 3 times, you take it as fact 3 or 4 times. And that's like marketing 101. So all they have to do is repeat a lie, and you have to hear it more than 3 times. And if all the stations are saying the same thing, they're all coming at you. And that's why I don't watch television, live vision.
They project it at the airport. They project it on the freeway signs in the cities. They have it on the overhead pass signs, on the radio, on the They have it coming from so many directions
Yeah.
that if you're not awake and hip to what's going on, you're just being hypnotized.
Yeah.
Into believing
Almost like they're trying to imprint on you.
Yes.
Even the flashing of the screen, whatever screen, whether it's a computer or TV, there's patents for like patterned.
Oh yes.
So you can't notice it, but it's programming your mind just by the way it's flashing. You can't even perceive it. Yeah. But the first thing that I heard about was many years ago already, when the new batch of 3D movies were coming out. Someone said, be careful because those can reprogram your mind, those 3D movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I said, wait a minute. If 3D movies can do that, what about normal movies? It's like, wow, I haven't seen a movie in a long time. I don't know.
A lot of that tech they've had since, the 50s and 60s, where they can use the flashing or use certain noise sequences to alter your emotions or just alter your receptivity as far as, taking in new information. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this Joseph Spencer guy said they took him to this underground base, and they took him in this big room down there. And there was like a B-2 bomber, the one of the V-shaped ones, the new ones, or one of the new stealth bombers, floating 25 feet above the cement floor.
Oh, wow.
And he looked at it, and his sergeant or whoever was there said, what do you see? He goes, well, it looks like a stealth bomber. He goes, well, you think so, huh? It was a holographic projection. Then he went on to say that the first mass test of this holographic technology was the Phoenix lights.
Oh, wow.
Which probably explains why you can't find any pictures from this Phoenix lights. They're all fuzzy. There's no good pictures. The thing, several craft went over the whole state all day long. So there was plenty of really good pictures. Where are they? So he claims 2024. He also claimed that I think 2017 or 2018, they were going to release a virus that would, be devastating. So that was pretty close. So yeah, it's very.
I think they're just warming up on that.
Right. I was just going to say that. Like they got plenty of time. I truly believe that there was a less lethal version released in order to get their basic track trace infrastructure in place before they would try to move on to their version of bigger and better.
Right. I think they were hoping that this would be worse than it really was. But I think they're making up.
How easily we would comply with it.
Yeah. Never comply. Never comply.
Mm-mm.
Complying is for wussies.
Right? Absolutely.
Amen to that. Won't get any disagreement here.
Right.
I think I'm gonna make a new T-shirt. Complying is for wussies.
We use a P or a W on that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe one of each and see which one sells more.
There you go.
Right?
Let the market.
She's open.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump off here, guys. Thank you so much for letting me come on here and chat with you for a bit, Aaron.
You're very, very welcome, lawyer. Welcome anytime.
Yes. Much love to you. Much love to your chat. And I'll sit here and give you a listen for a bit, Alara.
All right. Bye, Foil. Thanks for joining us.
Bye,
Gracing
friends.
us with your amazing presence.
Ta-da. You guys have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
2 for 1.
Well done.
Your other half. So which show do you like doing best? You got 2 shows, right? You got the Conspiracy Couch, or do you have more than that?
We have 2 shows that we do together.
Right.
I've done a few different ones since I first started in the movement, but those have been consistently going on. I don't know when we started doing the couch, actually. It's not as long as Space Force News, but we knew right away when we started doing that it was a good idea. It's a fun show, you know. We take on different topics and it's fun.
Great that you picked the couch too, because that's everyone can relate to the couch, right?
Right.
I always wondered, some things have more names than other things. Like sofas have a lot of names. You got sofa, couch, Davenport. Sometimes they call them love seats if they're small. But you mean, why so many names, right?
For a couch, I don't know. Humans like to name things. You know what I mean? Like I like to nickname things is what I like to do.
Yeah, me too.
I like to take a name and completely mutilate it and make it funny.
Yeah,
so
my dad did that too. I think that's a pretty
great.
cool
It's an art.
Yeah. So what's your latest word?
My latest word, I don't know that I have a latest word. They kind of come to me at random moments, and
yeah,
they just said that happens on Space Force News a lot. In fact, some of our shirts and our merchandise we have this one shirt called Organisms, right? You would have had to have been there for that episode. Like you would have had to. So how that came about is I was reading an article and it had a picture of 2 organisms doing it on a stick, right? It was part of the picture, the art for this article, some science article about bugs or whatever. And I was reading it and I was reading about the bugs mating, whatever, having sex. And so, of course, it was in my consciousness. And so when I got to the word organisms, it was not even on purpose. I said organisms. And the moment I said it, I bust out laughing, and so did the entire chat. It was hysterical.
Oh, wow.
Everybody knew what had happened. It was so funny. And so it ended up turning into a shirt. We took those 2 little bugs that were doing it, the microscopic bugs, and we put them on a shirt, and it says organisms.
That's
fun.
And
I don't know how funny it is to your average person, but if you were there for that episode, it's hysterical to you, right? But yeah, I got 2 of those shirts.
That's what you find if you watch these cats on their shows. That there's uproarious laughter every now and then. You're going to get blasted. So that's awesome, and I really think that laughter raises our vibration higher and faster than almost anything. I think laughter is like I guess it's kind of like funny love, laughter. It's like fun love, funny love or something lovely about laughter.
I laugh at everything. I'm continually cracking jokes. Sometimes they're not always appropriate jokes, I admit it, but I have a kind of a twisted sense of humor. But I would rather, there's no way that I could get through this clown show without a sense of humor. There's no way.
My daughter told me a joke at Thanksgiving. Do you mind if I tell it? Maybe you've heard.
Please.
Why does a duck have tail feathers?
Great question. I don't know.
To cover his butt quack. Yeah, that's kind of a fun one. That's kind of a fun one. All right.
Right? No, that was a funny one. That was a funny one. That wasn't a bomb. That was a funny one. You're
She
good.
told another one too. This is an older one. Maybe you haven't heard this one. Why do you never see elephants hiding up in trees? Give up?
Yeah, I give up.
Because they're very, very good at it.
I don't get that one.
The reason you don't see them hiding up in trees is because they're very good at it. They're good at hiding up in trees.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I know some people get that, some people don't.
I didn't get that one, but the quack one was good. The quack.
Oh,
what
yeah.
was it? Oh.
Why does a duck have tail feathers to cover his butt quack? I thought that was hilarious.
I thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, my daughter comes across lots of jokes, and that's one thing we do. We exchange jokes, and that's, you know.
How old is your daughter?
Oh gosh, now you're going to ask me that. I think she's, she's getting
It's
pretty
gonna
old.
give away your age.
My age, I'm old. Yeah, I'm older than the hills and twice as dusty. I'm older than Moses's toes and twice as corny.
Nice.
But yeah, no, my daughter was born, I believe, in 1994. So whatever age that makes her now, that's how old she is. And she's going to be a mom soon.
Nice. Is that your only, or do you have other children?
I have a son. I have a son and a daughter. And my son has bestowed 2 grandchildren on me.
Wow, Grandpa, check you out.
Yeah.
Check you out.
Hazel and Emery. Emery.
Nice. I like those names.
Girl Emery.
So, what made you get into all this? Like, I'm curious. I don't mean to interview you on your show, but
Go ahead. Yeah.
What made you decide I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna talk about, UFOs and whatever it is all that?
Well, when I was a boy, I was really into space, and when I was a boy, it was a long time ago. I'm a pretty old guy, and I remember watching the moon landing.
Mhm.
I think I was like, I don't know how old I was, 8 or 9 or something. I can't remember what age I was, but the moon landing really intrigued me, and it got me so interested in space, and I was so wanting the future to come. And cartoons like the Jetsons, and the idea of we're advancing and we're on the moon, because the moon landing happened only 66 years after the Wright brothers first flew. So that's a remarkable amount of advancement, really less than one lifetime, 66 years to go from that to that. And now it's been 50 years. So it's like, where the hell are the moving sidewalks? They're only in airports. What the heck? What's going on here, right? We still have large animals running in front of cars. What the heck? I mean, I think they invented the fence like thousands of years ago. I just, where the hell is the frickin' future? And then, of course, the secret space program comes out. And, after I saw that UFO in 96, that really got me going. And I had a show on Blog Talk Radio back in, I think I started that in 2007 or 8. And I went for a few years, and I interviewed lots of people. Paola Harris. I interviewed, like I said, Stan Romanek and his wife numerous times. Jim Sparks, he's an interesting guy. I got to have him on again. Frank Longo, he did the movie Contact with Beings of Light, the Dorothy Izat story. And I just was wanting to help bring it about, to bring disclosure, because I'm sick of it not being here, and to remind people, look, we need to do this, because, you know, I witnessed firsthand what happened after the moon landing. After the moon landing, all kinds of technologies came out that were brand new, and all these new products were on the market, like digital watches and calculators. Those were all a result of the Apollo program. So by keeping these other things secret, we're missing out on a whole plethora of other things related to those technologies. And it's just sad. We should be further along by now. It's been over 50 years since the moon landing. We should be as far ahead from there as we were from Kitty Hawk at that point, you know?
When did you get hip to the secret space program?
It was Corey Good. When Corey Good came out, I never subscribed to Gaiam TV. It was Gaiam, and then it turned to Gaia.
Right.
I just watched the free shows because I got this weird feeling about Gaia. Weird feeling. I mean, I liked it, and I thought, oh yeah, it's better than Netflix. I've never had Netflix. I wouldn't want Netflix, but I just never did. It seemed kind of weird to me. And so, but Corey Good's story really, really hit home. And it was like an awakening moment for me, because it's like, aha, we did achieve all the stuff that I thought we should have achieved by now. They just kept it from us.
They just kept it from us. Yeah, they just don't want to. They want to manipulate us with the gas, coal, and oil, man. It's just the big elites game going on down here. We're just, that's when it really hits you that we're literally just, we're slaves.
You know what?
Sad.
You know what? You made the comment about rockets. Why are they still using rockets? Well, look at what the rockets are doing. They're landing themselves. Now, I don't know if that's even possible without some kind of anti-gravity technology. There's got to be some of that mixed in there somewhere. You know,
how are the rockets landing themselves? Like,
it just seems ludicrously impossible. It doesn't seem.
That never occurred to me before. How are they doing that?
Yeah.
How do you land a rocket? Go reverse and land the rocket.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you have anti-gravity device in there, make it really easy, wouldn't it? You could have a little bit of jet stuff coming out to make it look good, and then
right
there you go.
Well, you know, Space Mouse is our mascot, and you know, you've seen the SpaceX launches with the mouse.
Yeah. Is that where that came from?
Going on there? Yes.
Now, what is the deal? Now, I also heard that he didn't really send the car up there. That was a bunch of bull crap. It was just in the studio.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody's a candidate to be ICC, it would be Elon.
Yeah.
I think he's running game on us, is what I think. Really.
I
just don't see how there's any other plausible explanation for.
What's weird about him is a couple of years ago, he was not down with this whole transhumanism, you know, put a chip in your brain type thing. Now he's all for it. Like, what happened? What did they put in your brain to make you change your mind? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's a whole. I've been trying to decode Elon for years now, and I still don't. You know.
Yeah.
Working, you know, decode on Elon completely. I just know that it's all suspect.
Yeah. Something weird with rockets, where they land like that. But maybe they can do it with rockets, maybe, you know, with the computer controls, who knows? But the fact that we have a secret space program, I was actually kind of relieved. I thought, oh, good, we have achieved it. We just haven't told the people. Right. But telling the people is what, I mean, that ignited a spirit in me, and then millions of people, young people, they got into science and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? Here's what I think NASA should do. You know those rovers they got on the Mars? They
Mhm.
got a bunch of rovers, right? They last years longer than they were supposed to. And they've taken pictures that some people say, oh, this is a mouse, or this is a rat, or this is a person, right?
Mhm.
Why don't they have them loop around and come back and revisit some of those spots? They could either debunk them or verify them, you know?
Because they're selling us a scam. It's a scam. I think everything we see is a scam. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think, I think it's all a scam. And I think there's jump rooms, and I think we don't even really necessarily need ships to get to some of these locations. It's just as easy as, you know. And what's funny is they're dropping more and more in the mainstream about the Einstein Rosen Bridge and
Mhm.
non-locality and all this sort of stuff. They're slowly telling the public that this stuff is real. You know,
Yeah.
um,
I was really excited when William Tompkins came out, verifying a lot of what Corey was talking about. He was describing ships that William drew. Very amazing.
well, and people can't. Sometimes they can't wrap their mind around. Well, how do we have? There's ships everywhere. How does there's ships everywhere and we don't see them and nothing looks different? Because when you get to that level of technology, cloaking is not even.
Yeah,
It's just like in Star Trek with cloak, decloak, uncloak. When you get that level of technology, cloaking is just part of the package. Like it's not even a thing,
and if you're launching from Antarctica, who's going to see it anyway?
right?
Right? Nobody's
There's a
going
hole there. There's inner Earth. There's a hole there. Clearly, there's just too much.
to. Yeah.
So yeah, and they're coming from underground. It's not. It's not. It's not rocket science how they're doing it. But it's alarming. I think most people aren't aware, though. Really, even people in intelligence and government, like at some high levels, I don't even think they're aware.
No, they're not. You know who?
They think that they know what's going on. They really don't at all.
No, that Michio Kaku. He's kind of lost. You know, I interviewed Andrew Basiago a bunch of times, and he spoke to Michio Kaku and said, "Hey, I was part of these programs. Why don't you
Mhm.
ask, me about why don't you learn something?" He just didn't want to get into it. But
You notice the Israeli space head came out.
yeah,
This is a big deal and said we're already on Mars. We're working with the ETs. Trump was going to tell everybody, but couldn't. And he made these very bold statements about the ETs needs to we need to learn about space and what space and spaceships are before they want this revealed. This is not a guy that would just make stuff up. And it's interesting because the mainstream sort of covered it, but it was like, oh, this guy said this. We don't know what to think. Moving on to the next story.
right,
Like,
memory hole.
it was almost like they weren't expecting that. Like, I thought it was very significant. Yet most people are still unaware that even happened.
I know, I know, I know
Mhm.
a lot of stuff, and that's why on my show I bring up old cases, old things that they're always relevant to what's going on because we need full disclosure. I mean, we really can't move forward very far if we don't know what the heck is going on and what we've achieved. I mean, I'd like to know what they've
People
already.
are afraid. They're afraid because they've done evil things, because there's been no oversight.
Right.
They've been able to get away with enormous evil, and they're afraid of persecution for that evil.
I don't think they're afraid of anything because they've gotten away with it so long. They think they're never going to get caught, but that's where they're going to get caught up.
Well, this is why they don't want to reveal, though. This is why they keep I mean, even that preliminary intelligence report that came, like, it was, come on, there was little nuggets in there if you really went through it line by line. But overall, they were trying to, like that was a joke. Like, we got that. We were like, what? This is all you're going to admit to? That you don't know and you need money to study it now? Like, come on.
If it's truly
Right?
government by the people, for the people, then we need to know. I mean, they should put like maybe a 10-year buffer on some of the top secret stuff, but after that, everything gets released to the public. The good, bad, the bad, and the ugly. And
Right.
we should have a say on things if they're bad, to not do them, and to do the things that are good. Um, I can
Okay,
see.
wait. What? Why is Debbie telling me, "Hello, Wonder Mod, good to see you, Alara? Your YouTube is live. Chat is open." Uh, what do you mean by that, Debbie? My YouTube is live. Chat is open.
Oh, are you broadcasting too?
I don't think so. I shouldn't be.
Okay.
Could you clarify that statement, Debbie? I'm a little confused as to what you're saying. Good to
Is
see
that
you, though.
in the YouTube chat?
I don't know. I don't know what she's saying. I'm a little confused by that.
Hmm.
Listen to it. Uh, she set up a pre-show in advance, and it is open.
Oh, the show, the
I didn't set up a pre-show.
conspiracy couch. I saw that today too.
Oh, is she talking about the couch?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought she was talking about this show.
I think she's talking. She
Yeah,
mentioned couch.
yeah. So the couch used to be Mondays at well at 2 p.m. Eastern, but we had to move it to Saturday nights, late night for a while because Foyle had a job. So conspiracy couch for the next month or so, YouTube came up and the chat is working. Okay, so there's not a problem. I'm just checking to make sure that I didn't have some weird link up or something. So yeah, so tomorrow night we'll be doing it at midnight Eastern, and we'll be talking about the craft. So I think that's what she's referring to. I don't know, but the link is up for that show.
I think that was for today, but maybe it was done by accident. It was for tomorrow, but it was on the wrong day. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, is that what she's talking about?
Yeah, because I saw the. That's when I messaged you on Facebook. That's when
Oh, what?
I bookmarked it. And I thought, wait a minute, that's when we're going live with Alara. I better call her, make sure that she's.
She's set for the 27th. Let me double check that, right? I don't need that sitting up on the wrong time here. That should be set for the 27th. Let me go check.
Oh, today's the 27th. Oh, it's already at. I guess it's past midnight here.
Should be the 20. Maybe it got set for midnight the day before.
Yeah, midnight's always a tough one. Weird
Right?
stuff. Weird stuff happens at midnight. Right.
It looks like it's.
Debbie Roush is in the audience there. Hello, and Jerry, Mud Rabbit, Abby. Good to
I don't even. Oh, let's see. I can check the time right there. It's set for the 27th at midnight. Oh, should that be the 28th? Not the 27th?
I'm not sure.
That would be the 28th at midnight, maybe. If it's tomorrow night, maybe that's what she's saying. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm gonna switch it.
Yeah, don't ask me. I'm just winging it.
Maybe it needs to be set to the 28th at midnight. I don't know. I'm gonna change it just in case.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so it's changed. That's the end of that.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what she's saying. It's not live, but I think it was set to go tonight, right now, instead
Right.
of
That's what I thought. Yeah.
tomorrow. I think if I set it for Sunday midnight, then it'll come Saturday at midnight. If that makes any sense, guys. Tomorrow, Saturday, is the 27th. Well, technically, right now is the 27th.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that's what I couldn't figure out. I've never had a midnight show before.
Right.
So
Me either.
maybe I should set it for the 27th at 11:59.
There you go.
That'd be less confusing, right? Yeah,
Yes. They give you an extra minute. You always need an extra minute.
right. That'd be less confusing for everybody. Let's do that. All right. So sorry, Aaron. Go ahead. Continue on. I think I can multitask this. Straighten
Okay.
this up real quick.
So what did you do before you got into this craziness? What was your occupation or your mindset? Where were you at? What were you doing?
Uh, well, that's a rather profound question. Where that one goes. Let's see. Maybe I can't multitask this. I'm trying though. So PM, we're looking for PM 11:55 p.m., right? On the 27th?
That sounds
That
good.
works. That'll work. Okay.
There.
Um I've done a lot of different things in my life. I kind of started out uh in Hollywood when I was really young.
Really?
I'm from California originally. Yeah.
Cool.
Uh yeah, I worked in production and acting and all that sort of stuff, and then I kind of quickly, writing, I was really into screenwriting when I was younger and stuff, and then I kind of really switched directions and went towards kind of the law. I wanted to go to law school, and that's a whole nother long story, but I spent a lot of years in college. I'm like a little bit short of having like 3 degrees. I spent
Wow.
a lot I you know I spent a long time in college, and I've done a lot of different stuff from, I've done all sorts of stuff. So,
That's awesome.
but I would say that I would say that the years prior to my awakening and that encounter that I had were probably the more lost years of my life, without a doubt. And I would say that that experience that I had altered my consciousness. It came at exactly the right time, because I had, at that point in my life, I was really disillusioned with the world and
Yeah.
with some of the things I'd been through at that point, and I just was kind of done. And I didn't understand this planet. I didn't understand anything going on here. I didn't understand why I didn't fit in. I didn't understand why there was just so much I didn't understand. And that experience kind of came at a time when I think I was primed and ready to have that spiritual awakening. So that's why when I said earlier, there's a design to this stuff, there was definitely a design to when I was woken up. And it came exactly at the time it was supposed to come. And I changed in the ways that I was supposed to change. And I think the things I've gone through in my life have allowed me to get to that place where I was even ready. I don't think I would have been ready to receive that experience or to grow from it in the way that I did spiritually had I not, had life kicked me around a little. Let's put it that way.
Hmm.
So it was all for a reason, and really it was a blessing, all of it. And now, when you figure out your mission kind of thing, like all these things I did in my life, these things I had interests in or I thought were important, or none of it was. My mission is this time now, what I do now. This is what I came here to do. I didn't understand that the majority of my life. I was a
Yeah.
sheep.
Some people never experience that. So that's great. So you were in Hollywood. You were in TV and maybe even motion pictures. No wonder you look so familiar.
I look very different now than I did then. Much different.
Taller.
I look dramatically different.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd recognize me. No, very different.
Okay. Was there
Besides,
anything that we
I
really?
work. I did. I worked for in production, so I worked behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. So you weren't like uh, on.
I did my internship for Gail Ann Hurd. Do you know who she is? She did The Abyss and Aliens, and yeah. So yeah, I
Awesome.
was definitely in that world for sure.
I had a movie concept that Ridley Scott was looking at back in the 90s, and he ended up not doing it. But
I
It
used
was
to love him. I used to have so much respect for him. He used to be one of my favorite. And I don't pay attention to Hollywood anymore. But there was a time in my life when I really had respected and admired these people, and film was my entire world. You know.
well, Alien was like very. I mean, he's very good. A very good space movie maker. I'd say extremely good. I think.
He did Aliens 3, right? Was that Ridley Scott that did Aliens 3?
All the aliens. Yeah, I think he did all of them. Um,
Well, I think Gale and James Cameron did. I don't know. I can't. I told you my memory is just
well,
horrible at this point.
who, DuckDuckGo keeps all that information for me, so we can look it up anytime.
Right. Thank God for DuckDuckGo.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and um, you know, in the old days, when you saw something, you probably wouldn't get it on camera because you didn't have a camera with you all the time, and if you did, you probably didn't have film because you had to keep buying film for it, right? But nowadays, it's like no memory. I got no memory, but at least you can take more pictures. But they're not permanent.
Right.
They go
They
away.
don't allow it. The first experience I had, I went to pull out my, it was dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Although when I got that TR3B on tape,
yeah,
I was allowed to get that. So
that was pretty cool.
yeah, that was wild. I couldn't believe when that happened. That was a trip.
Yeah,
But that's what got me into doing what I do. Like that experience literally was part of the timeline for me to, because I really didn't want to start a channel and a podcast. I was dreading it. I knew I had to, like I already knew that intuitively, but I didn't want to do it. And that was the event that sort of catapulted me into it. So
that's cool. When I was doing my UFO show on Blog Talk Radio, it was one of the most popular shows on that platform, and I was always on the first page of 15 pages of news shows, and it was wild. But at that time in my life, um, it seemed like I was doing this cool show and all these great interviews and things, but like I was dating this woman at the time, and she just had no time for any of that and thought it was stupid. And she wanted all of her news filtered. It's like, why would you want your news filtered?
right.
But and the people I worked with, they were like, it was like, man, something happened where I lost a lot of the shows, and I lost interest in it because I wasn't really technically. I had a tech director, but then I lost the tech director, and so it kind of went away. Sad. But before that, I had a cable access show up here, and that was a lot of fun. I did cable
I'll
access.
bet that was fun.
I did cable access in Minnesota too, and I did funny fake commercials like lens crackers. We can crack your fine, high quality eyewear in less than an hour.
I used to
And
do those at junior high with my friends. We used to videotape them in the 90s. Little commercials. We would, yeah.
yeah, you do that too? Cool. Yeah, check on my channel, scroll all the way down, you'll see. I was toying with the idea of announcing, hey, we got a new sponsor, and throw one of those little things on there. But yeah, there's still more I want to do with that. But we also did a show called XTV, Extreme Television, Minnesota's only music video showcase, where we went to record companies in Minneapolis area, and we got videos from different artists, and we put them together with the VJ, and we'd fade them in and out and have wild graphics in the background. This was in the early 90s. And we shopped our video. When we got it done, we made copies, multiple copies, and we shopped them to other cable access channels in the Minneapolis area. So we had a potential audience of 3 million people during that time, just by us running them around. So that was exciting. And we did a really weird show called Space Cadets. And I posted 2 of the edits from the guy I did it with, Ray Kramer, who passed away 2 years ago, sadly. And I reluctantly published those edits that he did on the Space Cadets, which I thought were terrible. But I just did it because he passed away, and it was kind of honoring him. And when I listened to it, I had it for years. I hadn't listened to it. I did it in the early 90s. Hadn't listened to it in years. And after I found out he passed away, I posted it, and I listened to it. And he says, "The year 2021. Like, what? How did he know? So that we were setting the story into the near future to 2021 from the early 90s.
When we'd have flying cars, right? And like hoverboards, all that stuff we were supposed to have but don't have because we have evil elites in control. Exactly. They don't want us to have anything. In fact, if Klaus Schwab gets his way, we'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah. He's going to be he's going to be in jail and have nothing and be happy. That's what's going to happen.
You'll eat insects and be happy.
Yeah, he will eat insects and be happy.
That's right.
Yeah, this plan isn't going to work. No, it's not
going to work out for him.
No one's buying it.
Too many people are waking up. They can't stop it.
No,
they're trying with the censorship, but they're really trying.
Yeah, they're just showing their swastikas by doing it.
Look at how nobody cares about Hollywood anymore.
Bollywood's better. Yeah, but
thank you, Debbie. Sorry about that. Sorry it took me so long to figure out what you were talking about. But yeah, I got it. I got the time sorted out, at least so people don't think we're live right now, and I'll go back and look and make sure it's right a little bit later. Thank you for looking out. I appreciate it. You over here, Maud, and look at you. Love you, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone in the chat's doing. I've not been paying too much attention to the chat, and I apologize for that, but I'm trying to focus on the guest here. So
I knew you had one of those personalities, like people are drawn to film and television and the arts. Like they have a certain sort of, even to do this, you have to have a certain sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Certain sort of something. I don't know what the something is, but it makes sense because you have that something.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. Before I started this show, it was one of my goals. I found a piece of paper with about 8 or 9 of my things I wanted to do, and that was one of them. I thought, oh, good, I did one of them. Yes. But
too bad I had to be old and have memory problems and all that when I decided to do. I wish I'd have done this when I was really young, but I was asleep then. And what good would it have done? I wouldn't have.
Right.
What would I have done? Talked about myself or clothes or what? I would have had nothing important to say, or it would have served no purpose.
Really?
So,
well,
it happened the way it was supposed to.
Well, we're glad we're doing it now because I think it's great.
I was not I am a different. When I say I'm a different person, I'm literally a different person today than I was then.
Oh,
literally.
Yeah. Me too, definitely. So what year did you graduate? I'll tell you what year I graduated.
1996.
96?
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 1980.
You are not that much older than me.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
Wow.
I'm 14. Wow. You add the 5 and the 9 together, you get 14, 59. Yeah. Well.
You're looking good.
Well, you're sleeping.
You're looking good, old man.
Sleeping in the oxygen chamber helps. I got it at Michael Jackson's garage sale. No.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, and I haven't since. Boy, how long has it been? I was at a Van Halen concert, and I was really looking forward to it. 3rd row seats, and I was with three buddies of mine. We all went down there, the U of M campus, University of Minnesota campus, someplace on the campus there. And Van Halen, man. So we were chugging booze all the way down there because we're young and stupid. We had peppermint schnapps, blackberry brandy, cherry brandy,
Oh man,
Southern Comfort.
I'm gonna get hungover just thinking about it.
We drank the first three on the way down there. And then Jim O'Donnell, we called him Och, tall guy. He opens up the Southern Comfort. We're walking to the venue. And he takes one sip. He's going to throw it. I said, don't throw that good liquor. And I guzzled it. Halfway through the warm-up band, my head went down. And then when my head went back up again, I'm in the backseat of the car. Where's Van Halen, man? Oh, man, you were puking through the whole concert, man. What? So I was so...
That's the last time you drank?
I was so angry at alcohol for stealing that memory from me that I stopped drinking. Now, I did, when I was going through my divorce, right before the turn of the century, maybe a little bit before that, 1998, I think, is when I divorced. I was hanging out at I was living with the McDonald's, and Billy McDonald's parents owned this pub, Fish Creek, very popular place. And so I was hanging out there, and Billy said, "Hey, Aaron, can I get you a beer?" I said, "No, I don't drink." He goes, "Have you ever tried a Hacker Shore?" I said, "Well, no, I can't say that I have." He goes, "Well, I think you should try it." So I tried it, and I liked it. And I drank maybe 1 or 2 beers a month for about 3 months. And then I stopped after that. It's like, no more. So I think I'm kind of allergic to it, because I get like sweaty and uncomfortable. And it feels like an allergic reaction. I think I'm allergic to alcohol. Plus I'm Irish, and an Irishman shouldn't be messing around with too much alcohol. So I stopped drinking. So I think that's one of the reasons why I might look a little younger.
Right. Well, it's not. Alcohol's not good. It opens you in a spiritual sense. It's very bad, actually.
Oh yeah, I've seen the memes of that. It looks very scary, and it is kind of scary because, when I first moved here when my kids were younger, into this house, and the basement. My son took a room in the basement because he has his own bathroom down there. And there was a bar area, because we're in Wisconsin, everyone had a bar in their house. And there was a refrigerator from the 70s that was decked out for a keg. And I came home from work one day, and my son goes, "Hey, Dad, I got a keg for the fridge downstairs." I'm going, "Oh yeah?" Because I didn't allow, I was very strict about, I never had any alcohol in the house, because I don't drink. And I was like pissed off. I opened the fridge up, and it was a keg of root beer.
No.
We had root beer all summer long. Do you know how long a keg of root beer lasts?
Had a while.
But I was pleasantly surprised that it was just root beer. But yeah. So that's my story. That's why, Van Halen. And I always wished I would have seen that. But you know what? I did catch a video from that same year. I watched it. They sucked live. So maybe, but I think I was meant to not drink, because I don't think that would have been too good for me. So yeah.
We all get the experiences that we need to evolve. That's been my experience.
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, and everything.
The shift with me was very dramatic.
Pardon?
The shift for me was very dramatic.
Was it?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you shifted into the gear where we could all see you on these shows. So you're a breath of fresh air in this community. I think you're doing great. And everybody subscribe to this channel, 1 Foot N5D. And the links have been dropped. Look around for them, you'll find them. Hey, Peggy Dancer. We got the best people over here. Hey, Catherine Weiss. Green Dragon 64. Fun people. Yeah, I'm just so happy that there's so many good shows to watch on the intranet now, including your 2 shows. And so, are you ever going to do like solo shows in the future, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do interviews, and
Oh, really?
I used to do Pink Patriot Hour, and I've toyed with the idea of doing some solo stuff. I have a few different ideas. It's just a matter of me ironing out. Well, I just moved to South Carolina, so I'm trying to kind of get settled here, get a regular schedule with some stuff. I'm not going to have the free time that I had in Arizona, or really in Hawaii for that matter. So I just got to figure out the rest of it, and then I can sort of work in when I can do other stuff around that. But I do plan on at some point here, rather sooner rather than later, start doing some other stuff again. Yeah.
Well, that will be fantastic. We're looking forward to that. I don't know if you know. Also, I'm an artist, and I showed this on the show the other day. It's a little sketch of an alien that I did.
Oh, you look at how cute he is! Look at his little eyes.
Yeah, some people
So
say
cute.
him with
I love it.
looking eyes.
I would love to have a picture of an alien like that. That is so cute. I like the way you make him.
Thank you.
He looks almost like E.T. kind of. You know how E.T. had this benevolence about him, even though he was, a scary looking alien, but he had benevolent eyes, is what it is.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at E.T., just like that being does.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I just did that the other day, just really quick. I did a couple alien sketches. That was one of them. I did a thing on my show a while back comparing ET to those strange reptilian creatures they found in Peru that were covered with white chalk. The one had eggs in his stomach. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, those guys. Yes, that thought occurred to me too.
They looked just like ET.
Yes, they did.
Only they're a little skinnier. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if that's where they got the idea for that.
Where are all the Bigfoot bodies?
Well, you know what? Have you ever seen a bear body? A body of a bear? No, you don't.
Good point. Good point.
There's bears.
What about the ETs? There's ETs that live here, right? Or whatever, just people that aren't us, right? And we've already discussed that, I red pilled you on the fact that yes, there's mermaids. So where are their bodies?
Oh, at the bottom of the ocean being picked clean by whatever eats them. Or maybe they ceremoniously bury their dead like we do.
What do they do with their dead, I wonder?
I don't know.
Huh.
Or you toss them on top of the plastic heap.
It'd be nice to be able to find out and not have the stuff hidden from us, though. It's getting old. Like,
yeah.
Even the giants, they hide the giant. Like, we all know there was giants. There probably still is. And live underground. But they would try to act like it's just like the whole narrative about the United States. Like, there's mounds here. Like, there was people. Like, it's, if you really dig into all the different rabbit holes, like the story they sold us about Christopher Columbus, and no, clearly no. So there was giants here, and they buried their dead in these mounds, and so it'd be nice to know the truth. I, for one, would like to go to the Vatican Library, more so than even space at this point, I think.
Yeah. Now, Emery Smith claims he's been to the Vatican Library. However, I'm not sure I believe everything that he says. And
right.
I sort
probably wise.
sort of believe some of the medical stuff he talks about, because when he's talking about that stuff, he talks faster, like he knows it. When he talks about the other stuff, he talks slower. So the way he came in and kind of took over Cosmic Disclosure, now he's running it. It just
Right.
makes me wary. And I don't like to say bad things about anybody, but I don't know. Spider senses are a little bit weird. Now, there was one episode where Corey and Emery were both talking about going down in the tunnels and being on the maglev trains, and they were bantering back and forth, and it sounded pretty good. You know, maybe he did see some of that stuff, but I'm not sure if he really saw everything he's saying he saw.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of tend to agree with you. I'm not really one to talk negatively about others myself. I tend to keep my opinions to myself.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, but I will say that when it comes to weeding through the disinformation, especially in the world of ufology, I tend to rely heavily on my intuition,
Yeah, me too.
other senses beyond, so I just take in information and I make my assessment quietly, kind of from a distance, and then when I'm able to physically encounter that person, then I read that and factor all those things in and draw my own conclusions, which I generally don't share with others. But I would say that there's a lot of, you got to wonder out there when you got to wonder. There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of information, and just like even with the secret space program thing alone, there's so many people with the super soldiers, and you get, who's telling the truth and who's not,
There's so much noise, and if there's a secret space program, which there has to be, because it's been 50 years since we went to the moon, they're not just going to do nothing, right? And the idea that they would start a Mars colony or several colonies, including Mars, as a kind of a safeguard in case Earth gets destroyed, I can run with that. I can think that could be possible. Also, the idea that they would tell the Mars colonists and the others that there's no more life on Earth. We got out just in time. Now this is the last vestige of hope for humanity. And I've heard that they've used this, the ICC has used this as an excuse not to tell these people that there is life on Earth because, oh no, this is an experiment. You can't interfere with this experiment. It's a psychological experiment. It's like, no, it's too much lying. They need to come clean. Because when I saw the moon landing, I thought, okay, great. I'm like 8 now. By the time I'm 30, I'll be able to vacation on the moon or in space at least.
Yeah.
Where
They
the heck?
scammed us. They scammed us. And if you look at MH370, is it 370? Look at MH370 alone. A plane disappeared mid-flight. This happened on this planet. Just disappeared mid-flight. And nobody really tripped out on that too much. And then when you really look at the people that have gone missing on this planet and the circumstances behind them, who they were, their education, their skill set, the circumstances, I'm telling you, people go missing. Entire planes go missing on this planet.
Yeah.
There's something, I don't have all the answers, but there's something really suspect going on. And given what we now know about these secret projects and the level of technology that they possess, it's not hard to kind of connect the dots. Regardless whether each person out there is telling the truth or not, it's not hard to connect the dots overall and realize that yes, it's just like the ET. You don't have to be an experiencer to know something is happening here. There's too many people that claim they've been abducted. There's too many spaceships that people see in the sky and tape, right? So there's something going on, right? It's the same idea. Just like we both talked about, we instinctually knew with the space program we were being lied to. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's 2021. It doesn't make sense. And sure enough, now we've had the government come out and, okay, yes, there's ships flying around. We don't know what they are, which we know that they do know what they are, but you know, so this thing we intuitively already knew, it just got confirmed. We didn't need it confirmed to know that. But it just goes to show, like, if you just kind of sit back and be the observer of the self and of what's going on out there, you can sort of connect the dots without knowing fully if each, you know, each individual is, you know, completely honest or not, or
Right. And
compromised, or
even if they're making it up, there's probably some of those stories are actually happening because,
right.
um,
Yep.
and I do tend to believe Corey Good. I mean, at this moment in time, I have you heard some of his latest drops? They're very, very interesting.
I haven't been paying attention.
About he was apparently brought to some tall gray bases and some reptilian bases, and they were, showing them all this stuff. It was very, very disturbing. Apparently, these gray aliens, they work together with the reptilians and the insectoids
Mhm.
from the Orion group, and they're the bad guys apparently. And these tall gray aliens, he said they have these. They showed these giant vats of human parts, and they make this paste, and they scrape the
Gross.
top of their arm with some kind of knife, and then they smear the paste on their arm, and they absorb it that way. That's how they. So
Well, they do.
just knowing that we need to get rid of this relationship with these tall grays. It's got to stop.
Well, it's the, you know, it's the powers that be, man, that made that relationship with them, and you know, the only way that changes is if we eliminate the evil people who are making deals with negative ET groups.
Corey mentioned that he saw Kissinger with Draco reptilians at one of these bases, and he's clearly on the side of the reptilians. So that's interesting. And after he said that on one of the episodes, the next episode, they kind of covered it up, and they weren't going to mention it again because he wasn't supposed to mention that. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I you know, there's so many narratives going around now,
Yeah.
that you just anymore. I personally, I've gotten to the point with it all where, you know, I just, you know, I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to think.
Well, there's enough cases there and Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob was verified by Bernie Mendez as a real alien. He knew him. So now that we have a verified footage and pictures of a real alien, that proves that there are aliens because there's a real one. And it also proves that we are aliens. So now, if you don't believe in aliens, you don't believe in yourself because we're now aliens because to Skinny Bob, we are aliens, right?
Well, that got revealed to me after I woke up. I had no concept that I was. I mean, I did have a concept as a kid that I didn't fit in here, and I didn't understand why people were mean, and I didn't get this place.
Right.
I knew I was different, but I had no concept of a soul or the afterlife or the fact that I myself was from somewhere else and you know, shot in here for a specific mission. But what's weird is I always knew I was here on a mission my whole life, even though I had no clue what it was. That's why I was so lost my whole life. Like, what? I knew I was here on some kind of mission, but I didn't know what the mission was. And I didn't know I had to conform to this world, which is completely backwards. Everything about it is what we glorify. So that was part of why I was so confused and lost. But yeah, the point is, as I woke up and these crazy experiences starting to happen to me, then I started to be able to perceive, you know, my extraterrestrial family, which are, you know, they're blue people.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They're Arcturians.
Arcturians. So
Yeah.
I know that.
I mean, that's what everybody says they are. You know, they never said that's what they were, but when I would see Arcturian stuff, I was like, that's them on the internet. I was like, that's That's them. Those are
Interesting.
my people.
You
Yeah.
know, there are blue-skinned people that Corey saw in the inner Earth, and they have a
Those were
little.
different blue skin people, I think.
Okay,
Those were the ones from the Hindu texts. I
right,
forget what the name of them is, but yeah.
right,
hmm I've heard him describe those.
Vishnu or something like that. Yeah,
hmm
those Hindu temples. Have you ever looked at those? How incredibly detailed they are, and how old they are, and how long ago they made them.
I am fascinated with the ancient world, with ancient texts, with architecture. I'm absolutely obsessed and fascinated with that stuff, as well as religious texts and things like that. But I'm just, that stuff's all my jam, you know? Like, I remember being fascinated with Egypt as a kid, like, just totally fascinated with anything Egyptian.
Yeah. Yes. Um,
It didn't make sense to me. Like, how do we not know? We don't what? Like, there's this exists here, but we think they made this with what? But we don't know, and we don't know what it's for, and there's no soot marks, but people could still see. Like, it didn't. None of it made sense, and they tried to sell it to you. You're like, what?
yeah.
Like this? None of this makes sense. How do we not know about our own history? Like, but I didn't put it together until later in life that no, it's on purpose. That's by design. We're not supposed to know. We're the slaves.
Yeah. It's like the only thing that's left over from these ancient societies are their giant megalithic stone structures. So we should
Right.
start building giant megalithic stone structures that we want to be remembered, right? That's the only thing that's left after whatever happens.
Right.
Um,
And some of them, like Baalbek, like, come on, man. Clearly, whoever built that and used it was not us. You know, it's huge. Why would you do that? It just makes no sense.
yeah,
These people were giants.
yeah.
They were giants.
Giant stairs. Is that what you're talking about? They have those giant stairs.
Huge. Yeah. These
Yeah,
people were not us. And where'd they go?
yeah. I don't know. You know, the mystery of how they built the pyramids, how they got the stones so close together, you can't fit a credit card between them, right?
Right.
Um, there was a guy, I read an article many years, decades ago in Omni magazine, doesn't exist anymore. In fact, I might have that in my junk somewhere to look for it. But this guy, this researcher was in Egypt and he was there for a while. And then there was this local market on the street. So he went out there and there was this old man making stone hammers with wooden handles.
Mhm.
And he took crushed rock and he mixed with the crushed rock three different plants that used to be very plentiful in the area. And they create an acid that melts the stone, and he was able to pour it into a mold around the handle. And he was
Mhm.
selling these stone handles. And he was fascinated by this. Oh my God. And so he got permission from the antiquities people in Egypt to take a very small sample of the outer casing, which is the parts that there's no seams. I mean, you can't fit anything between. And he found um, he found trace elements of the plant matter in the stone. So that's
Mhm.
how they did it. It wasn't full blocks. It was wheelbarrows of crushed rock they brought up there for some of
Hmm.
it. For some of it,
Have you ever read The Law of One?
I've read some of it and I've heard tapes of it. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I've
I'm not.
read it probably 3 times.
I'm not
I
sure if
still
I like the
study it.
harvest. The harvest. It sounds like Logan's Run, where they're all going up and renew, and they all explode. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that.
It's one of those books that it either really resonates or it doesn't, you know?
It does, but
I
that
got my own theories on that, but
the harvest thing is what bothers me.
really? See,
Yeah,
that doesn't to me it's a very scientific way of explaining soul extraction from, physical vessels at the time when they're supposed to be extracted for whatever
Mhm.
reason? Again, a question that's outside of my pay
Well,
grade, but
that was actually covered in another one of Corey's drops about what these tall grays do is they capture souls after they've left the body, and they take pieces of your soul, and they most of them they send right back to Earth. They program on them with some kind of false mission, and they send them right back to Earth. But others they send out to other places, and he said that the they determine what that person believed, and then they send them to that realm that was created by our co-creative consciousness. And that's what Corey said that Mika told him. Mika's planet was freed from the reptilians. They freed themselves from them about 200 years ago, and the same thing happened there. That after they had gotten rid of the reptilians and the Orions, these very tall, dark-skinned aliens from our star cluster, our local star cluster, came. The Zulu, he calls them, and they're very evolved spiritually. They don't have technology. They all do it through their minds. And they said to Mika's people, you've created 3 different hells on your planet here through your co-creative consciousness. We want to ask permission to enter these hells so we can release the soul so they can re-enter the reincarnation cycle of the planet. And they gave them permission. They went in, they freed the souls. Now that was really interesting, that our co-creative consciousness creates hell and possibly
makes
heaven.
perfect sense. Makes
Yeah.
perfect sense to me.
So we need to stop thinking about hell as a bad place and start thinking about heaven as a really cool place too, because thinking that that's where you're going to go, because that's what they go by, what you think you're supposed to go. So if you maybe someone had made a couple wrong turns in their life, they're feeling very bad about themselves, they might think they're going to hell. If they die, they're going to look at that and go, oh, this person thinks they belong to hell, let's put them in hell. No, don't think that about you.
That's why I will not entertain that thought, not for 1 second, because I fully believe that we manifest what we believe.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you really believe that this and that, if you're, that's why I reject any stuff like that, because I know the power of the collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not surely don't want to manifest something like that. So I don't even entertain the idea.
Yeah,
It just never resonated with me either. That there's just not, I've had a very, intense experience with the creator and with creation and with what's beyond the veil. And so to me, it was pure love and interconnectedness. And I don't understand how that the creator that created that would create a negative place. To me, that's us that does that. We do that somehow with our mind. We create that because we believe it exists.
Yeah,
because we're programmed to believe it exists.
Right.
Basically, when you really get down to it.
Yeah, and if enough of us believe something, then it manifests itself. So that was really kind of freaky. That really freaked me out. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
So much we don't know.
So much.
We're only getting little pieces here and there, and but it's all adding up. It's all coming together like a puzzle piece, like it should.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we've been talking for quite a while here.
Yes, we have.
You think we should probably put a cap on this baby?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, it's getting late here. It's almost 2.
My.
But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and hanging out with you tonight. Great conversation, and I love what you do over here.
Thank you.
On your channel. Really love it.
Yeah, I even got Captain Kirk. He hangs onto my spaceship when we take off, and he's catching a ride with us. Oops, he's a little. Oh, there. He's in the right spot now.
You're a rare flower, Aaron, and I love rare flowers. I admire the uniqueness of individuals. The more unique, the better, and you stand out. So
Thank you very much. So do you. I think you're a great person, and the world is a better place because you're in it and doing these shows. So thank you very much. And
oh,
I'm
thank you.
sure everyone in the chat is just ecstatic over you, and they're going to go
Nice
over it.
meeting you guys.
They're going to go over and they're going to get all subscribed up. And because you're on lots of different channels, why don't you tell us where we can find you? You know about 1foot and 5D. Where else? You're on Gab and all kinds of places, right?
Oh, the platforms. Yeah, I'm on where am I? I'm on Rockfin. I'm on pill.net, Foxhole, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and I'm sure there'll be more at some point. I had to double down when the purge came. I didn't know when it was coming down next. So I kind of doubled down. I'm glad I did, because now it's like whatever, you pull one platform, I'm like, huh. And so yeah, you can find me on all those platforms, and I do Space Force news every Sunday at 9 p.m. right, 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel 1foot and 5D. And like I was telling you guys earlier, Conspiracy Couch is a call-in show that we do different topics. That right now is going to be Saturday nights at midnight, and then it probably will eventually go back to its old time slot, Mondays during the daytime from 2 to 4. I'm sure there'll be other things coming up in the month of December. Nothing I can announce right now, but other stuff will be coming up in the month of December. So yeah, definitely come and hang out, check it out, and yeah.
And your merch, you got t-shirts and things. What's your merch shop?
Teespring, 1foot and 5D. Everything's 1foot and 5D.
There you go. That's your one-stop shop. There's all your Christmas shopping right there.
Yeah, I'm on Gab. I got pulled. I lost my Twitter account when Big Daddy lost his.
Me too.
So I'm over. I've got a Gab, and I've mainly, and I have a Facebook and stuff, but mainly I'm on Telegram. That's kind of my new jam ever since I lost Twitter. So you can find me over there at Alara Sirius channel. And then I have a chat too that's called the Cosmic Cafe. That's kind of the hangout over there. And I post the link from time to time. It's not public, but I do post the link from time to time. But you can find it through Alara Sirius channel. So.
Awesome. Alara Sirius. And she's serious, but she also is a lot of fun. So there you go. Sure. Thank you very much for coming on to the Truth Quest, because you know what? We're downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. And thank you very much for coming on to the Truth Quest. And I'll wish all of you a happy rest of your night and tomorrow. Until next time, peace in.